Good afternoon, welcome along to Tiny in Thailand again. I'm here in Soi 6. It's early, it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so there's nothing open really, just think no girls here anyway. I just wanted to do a talk. I'm going to walk down Beach Road. Just wanted to do a bit of a talk about the good, the bad and the ugly things that's happening these days in Pattaya. What's improved, what's deteriorated and got worse, and a few of the ugly sides of things that have appeared in the last few years. So yeah, hope you enjoy the video. We'll roll the intro. So the first thing I wanted to talk about really is kind of a good thing, but negative as well. More of everything. There's lots more bars, there's lots more restaurants. The city seems to be expanding at an incredible rate, especially when you go over like the dark side, which is East Pattaya. You know, that used to be 10 years ago. People lived over there, but not that many to be honest, and it just seems to be getting bigger and bigger. The hotels are going up, apartments, and there just seems to be a lot more bars, a lot more restaurants. Like every time I come back here, it feels like it's changed so much, and I try to get back every 6 to 8 months, and you go down Soi Buakhao for example, and all the bars are changed, and that's because people are going out of business, because there's too much competition. And it feels as though, like Beach Road where we're on now, it feels as though this is kind of getting all cleaned up, and it's pushing all the kind of nightlife back onto Second Road, Beach Road, sorry, Second Road, Soi Buakhao, and around Tree Town, and even now onto Third Road and beyond Third Road. So yeah, it's everything's there's just more of everything here. You can party well into the early hours, 24 hours probably if you wanted to. So there's lots of things to do here, so that's a good positive thing, I would say. The next thing I want to talk about is how they've cleared parts of the city up. For example, if I spin the camera around, you can see this now, Beach Road. I mean, before you was kind of, they got the palm trees and you could kind of stumble into them. There was like curbs all around them. They've flattened everything out. They've put new slabs down, and just tidied the whole place up. Also with the electric cables, there used to be tons of electric cables. That's not happening now. They've all disappeared. So yeah, it's looking a lot nicer. One of the things they did get rid of as well was the street vendors, so the food, you know, the little food carts. But I think in a way that's part of the Thai culture, you know, the urbanisation, and it kind of gets rid of the charm about the place for me. I like to see all that. I like to see people cooking street food, just, you know, people cooking street food in front of you, and I don't know, they're a pain in the arse, because when you're riding around, they're slowing all the traffic up, and you're trying to get around them in a scooter. But it's just part of Thai culture, and I think it's a shame to see those go. I think if you've never been here before, you've never noticed it, and you can't compare it, sorry, I think you won't know any difference. But it's so much nicer walking down here now than what it was a few years ago. But look, as you can see, there's nobody on the beach. That is one thing I don't really understand, why people don't really use this beach a lot. I mean, please, in the comments, let me know. So the next thing I want to talk about is the expense of things and how that's changed. When I first started coming here, which was 10 years ago this month, so this is like an anniversary for me coming to Thailand, we used to get a flight for £330 with Emirates, no problem. First airline we flew with was Emirates. I think we paid £350. That was in the June 2015, and then I came back here in the September, and I think I paid even less because it's obviously a cheaper time to come here. So yeah, that's one of the problems. Now the average flight will cost you anything from £800 to £1,200. For example, I'm looking to come back in at December, and the cheapest decent flight I can find is about just over £1,000. So that's a big bad thing, like, you know, that's a big drawback coming back to Thailand. Hotels, they have gone up, like everything, the cost of living, the prices, they just had to. Previously I was probably paying for a room, I mean the Dabura where I'm staying now, that's only been built about 5 years, but previously, for example, I've stayed in the Vogue Hotel, which is on Soi Lenki. I used to pay about £17 a night. That was only probably just before COVID and just after COVID. Now that same room in the same hotel is nearly £30. So yeah, so it's, you know, it's not far off doubled in price. Short time, long time, 100% that has gone through the roof, and that's only changed since COVID. I don't know what happened, but that has doubled. I want to elaborate on what, you know, what short time and long time is. If you know, you know. Bar fines, again, they've gone up really, but an average bar fine now will cost you anything from 500 to 3,000 for one night, depending on whether it's short time or long time, depending on where you go. So that's another thing. Food, drink, that's one of the things that's probably stayed about the same, really. Yeah, it's still pretty good. You can get a beer for around about £1.30 if you're lucky in some places. Places like the Billabong, they do 2 for 1. That probably costs you about £3. If you're going down Walking Street, you can pay for a beer, you can pay about 170, 180 baht, which is nearly £4. If you want spirits, then you're talking a little bit more, obviously. So the expense of food and drink is about the same. Anything else? That's about it really for expenses. So good and a little bit bad, really. So the next thing I want to talk about, in the good, the bad and the ugly, is the exchange rate. Now, obviously I'm from England, so I can only really talk about the pound. I don't really keep an eye on the dollar or the Aussie dollar. The way we used to work it out with the baht was, it used to be, when I first come here in 2015, it used to be 50 baht to the pound. So if something is 50 baht, you double it, which is 100. But the baht today, it's not 50, it's nowhere near 50. It's about 43.50 or nearly 44. Now some of you might think that's not a lot, but if you're changing up, say £100, you're going to be losing at around about £10 to every £100. So if you're coming here with, say, £2,000, that's 200 quid you're down. That's a fair amount, isn't it? Some of you will know that the baht was at, I know friends that have seen the baht in the 70s. I know friends that have seen it in, I think it even went up to the 80s at one point, at some time in the, was it early 90s or something. So that is that's a big negative for me, the exchange. It's so I'm getting food sellers trying to sell me gone off scampi. So that's a big negative, exchange rate. What can we do about it? Absolutely nothing. We just have to accept it. People like Donald Trump, I don't think's helping at the moment with all these tariffs and the kind of inconsistencies in their kind of in finances and whatever. because they don't know what he's going to do and when he's going to do it. But the baht, or the pound, has been weakening for many years. It's not just since he's been in charge of America. It does have a big impact, but I don't think it's the be all and end all. I'm hoping that we might see 50 one day, but I doubt it.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello.
I go with you, right?
No, thank you. So, the next thing I want to talk about is the demise, in my opinion, and all this is my opinion, so, you know, it's just the demise of Walking Street. When I first started coming here, it was rocking, it was brilliant. So many, there's still lots of places open, there's still lots of bars, you can still have a great night, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem the same as what it was a few years ago. Lots of amazing clubs opening up. There's a lot of money being spent from India and a lot of Indian nightclubs, and I would say now the foot traffic along Walking Street is probably 70% Asian, as in Indian, and maybe like you know, like people from Saudi Arabia, Middle East, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, less and less Western European, American tourists going down Walking Street on a nightly basis, partly because of the prices. It's become very, very expensive to have a night down there. You're going to go-go's, and the girls, I mean, some of them, they are beautiful. Some of the bars, we went into a bar a couple of days ago, and it had 150 girls all dancing, and as soon as you sit down, they're doing the job. They're coming over to you. Can you buy me, you know, hello, where are you from, how long are you here on holiday, the usual crap questions. And then it's, will you buy me a drink? And a drink, to buy a girl a drink is usually about £4 to £5 down Walking Street, and they're not big, they're tiny little glasses, little shots normally, or something like I don't know, vodka soda or something like that in a tiny glass with about 6 ice cubes in, and it's gone within 5 minutes. So yeah, so it just doesn't feel exciting. That's one of the things. Just doesn't, the vibe seems to have gone there. For example, me and Mitch, we always talk about the Marine Bar, and that used to be banging. The music used to be like techno, trance, and it used to be rocking in there till like 6, 7 in the morning. That, unfortunately, due to the economic stability, that's gone. It's a shame, because it used to be banging in there. So bars like that we used to love are no longer existing. Prices of the short times, prices of the long times, I've spoke about that earlier. They are really, really ridiculous. You know, I would say, you know, it's on the par with probably Las Vegas, if not even more now, for that kind of if you want to partake in the entertainment. Good for the girls, if that's what, you know, if they can get paid that money, great. Another problem is they're paid now high salaries. That's one thing that's changed as well. They used to be paid basically a low salary, and then they used to earn the money off the drinks and off going with the customers. That changed after COVID, because there was a lack of girls coming to Pattaya. So to entice them to come back, they have to pay them high salaries. So some of the girls now in Walking Street are probably earning a salary, probably 2,000 baht a night, which is say £45. Sorry, yeah, around about 40 to £50 a night, which isn't a lot. You think, well, that's not a lot, but to them it is, and they can live off that. So they'll get probably 10, 15 drinks a night. That'll probably boost them up. They probably earn, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 pounds off that per night. So they don't have to go with customers. Some of you out there will think that's good, but for the tourists, it's, and I think they're a lot more picky and choosy now. Maybe it's because I'm getting old, They seem to just want the younger guys, you know, and we'll speak about them because that's definitely a negative. Speak about them in a minute. So yeah, the demise of Walking Street. It's not the same, unfortunately. It's still, you can still have a great night, but be prepared to take your money with you because you're going to need it down there. It's not cheap. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the traffic. So we're down here on Beach Road now. We're up, if you look around, that's Pattaya Klang going up there, and it's what? It is 1:30 in the afternoon, so it's a pretty quiet time. It's not a busy time. Now, as you can see, there's not that much traffic. But believe me, when you start going up to Soy Bacau, I've just rode the bike from Soy Bacau and it is chocker. You can't move. There's a lot more now. When you come down here of a night time, the build up to get to Walking Street probably starts here. Now from here to Walking Street, I would say is at least a mile, maybe more. And it will be nose to tail from here, virtually, of a night time. So that's a bit of a negative, the traffic. Not a lot you can do with about it. It's happening all over the world. It's the same in the UK. More and more people have got cars these days. So that's just how it is. Just got to accept it. Okay, so you're probably thinking, what about the ugly? Look behind me. That's all I'm going to say, the big C. What is going on with this in Pattaya? Honestly, it's everywhere. The broccoli sellers, the big C, whatever you want to call it. It's just, the shops have just come out of nowhere. Every street you walk down, there's probably 2 or 3 of them, and I never see anybody really in them. Maybe 1 or 2 people, but they're always empty. But look, everybody's each to their own. You know, in the 90s and 90s, people who know me, I partaked in a few, let's say, substances. It was part of growing up in the rave scene. I'm not here to be judgmental, it's each to their own. But it just feels like there's so much of it here. I don't know if you've been to Amsterdam. The coffee shops are like sporadically kind of spaced out. They're not in your face everywhere you go. Yeah, and it just doesn't feel right with the culture here. And it's what it's made me do. It's made me think about how I'd feel about it being decriminalised in the UK. I used to be up for it because I used to think, look, it's a natural substance, doesn't harm anybody. People are going to take it anyway. The police seem to turn a blind eye on it. But after seeing what I see here, where there's just shops just opening up everywhere, I wouldn't want to see that in the UK. So yeah, the big C, it just doesn't sit right with me in here in Thailand. The laws against substances here have been really strong over the years, and why they've gone down this road, I don't know. There's talks of it being made illegal again, and I think that would be the right thing. But do you partake in it? Leave your comments. I think one of the things as well that I've heard stories about is people actually taking substances back into their country because it's so readily available here. You know, you can just get it anywhere, and there's lots of people being caught going back to the country with it. So that can't be good, can it? The final thing I wanted to talk about, which is an ugly part of Pattaya, it's about the younger males that seems to be attracted to this place now. It's predominantly always been 40s and over, really. Yeah, you get the odd kids coming here for a few days as they're travelling around Thailand backpacking. That's I'm not talking about that. But it seems to be attracting a younger crowd. Whether that's because the girls seem to be wanting that more, I don't know. But one of the things that seems to be highlighting, especially when you look on social media, is fights with security down Soi 6, tourists not being able to handle the drink, think that they're invincible. Now one thing I'll tell you about this place is every bar that I've been to, and I mean nearly, well, I would say every bar that I have ever been to, the security in these bars, they're helpful, they're respectful, they welcome you when you come into the bar. You know, there's no attitude whatsoever I've ever seen. For example, you go into a bar in Walking Street, they will take you to the table, they will make sure you're settled in, they will give you, you know, they will put the two hands together and say thank you. And when you're coming out the bar, they'll make sure that, because some of the steps are quite steep, they'll make sure that you come out and you're okay, you know what I mean, help you down the steps if you need it. You know, they're very, very helpful and respectful. But you cross them, you take the piss, you're going to be in trouble. Half of these are Muay Thai boxers, probably 99% of them are Muay Thai boxes. They'll have you on the floor in seconds. You are not gonna, and what they do, they back each other up, they're friends. So if one was fighting, there'll be 5 or 6 of them come along and help him. So honestly, since some of the negative rap that Pattaya is getting at the moment, with regards to fights, and people that can't handle the drink, won't pay for the bar tab in the bar. They kick off, and then next thing you know, they're there offering the security out, and the security is saying, look, just pay this, all we want is you to pay your bill. And the next thing you know, bang bang bang, and there's only going to be one winner, and that's not the tourist. Believe me. So it is the safest place in the world, in my opinion, apart from riding a scooter there. It's probably the most unsafest place. But don't be worried about coming here and being bullied by security or being intimidated by security. They're lovely. They're really lovely. They're kind. I always buy them a drink, and then they look after you even more then. So you know what I mean. But please, if you can't handle your drink, if you get violent once you're drunk or you've had too much, don't come to this place. It'll be the worst mistake you've ever made, because you will get put in hospital, and it'll cost you a lot of money then. And even worse, you'll end up in the monkey house. You don't want that. So that's the good, the bad, and the ugly of Pattaya. I'm stood here at the crossing of Second Road and Pattaya Klang. I've got to walk now back to Soi 6 to get my bike. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Please like, share, comment. I'm here for a little while. If you've got any ideas about videos, if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments. I've also got Buy Me a Coffee link if you want to do that, but that's up to you. I hope you're enjoying the videos. Tiny in Thailand. See you on the next one.